Next, we have Austria and the author Anna Kim, Frozen Time. And also, if I could invite the Deputy Permanent Representative of Austria, Harald Gunther. Anna, so you've written books that have been set in Kosovo and have been set in Greenland. Do you think after your experience here we'll be seeing shortly a book set in Belgium?
Probably not, no.
And what do you think is next for you?
The next one will be about Korea, North and South.
Right.
Because I've been asked to write about my roots.
Okay. And well, who would you like to thank tonight?
Well, I would like to thank all the organizers of this award, of course, the European Commission, and also all the presidents, because there have been very many. We have met so many presidents the last few days. It was amazing. And also I would like to thank the people I talked to with when I was researching the book. Without them, it would have not been possible to write it the way I did. And I'm very grateful that they shared the stories with me.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. How did being Austrian and growing up in that country, how did that influence your writing?
Well, first of all, I used to read quite a lot of Austrian literature, and I still do. And I value the tradition, the Austrian tradition of experimenting with language a lot. So I think it had a big impact on my writing, actually. And also because I started writing poetry. And so experimenting with language was always a big thing. And in that sense, growing up in Austria was a good thing for me because it really helped me find a unique style or just be more conscious about language, I suppose. I think the background of the story is actually very closely connected to me growing up in Austria. Because you see, at the time when I went to school in Vienna, the war in Yugoslavia was very present. There were so many reports about refugees coming to Vienna and Austria as well, and there were fights at the border, and Austrians were actually concerned that, you know, Austria would get involved in it somehow. And so the war in Yugoslavia was not very far away, especially growing up in the east of Austria. And maybe that was the reason why I was so interested in it. And we talked about it a lot in school as well. And then I went to university, and many of my colleagues were from Croatia or from Serbia or Bosnia, and then by chance I stumbled into this project that the Austrian Red Cross was doing. They were doing ante-mortem interviews. They were doing interviews with the families, the relatives of the missing, and I asked, you know, if I could just sit in there and listen, and they were very friendly, and they said yes, I could. And so I was listening into one of these interviews, and then I listened to a second one and a third, and they were very, very touching and shocking as well, and they were very long. I mean, one of these interviews is usually about 3 to 4 hours, and they ask so many details. You know, they ask what people are wearing and when they disappeared, and you start to think, you know, would I ever remember any of that? You know, I wouldn't be able to. And because they also ask, you know, did they have some illnesses, or did they have a fracture in the bones, or was a tooth missing, stuff like that. And these are things that you normally don't remember, even when you love a person. So that's how I got into this whole subject, and then I just couldn't stop researching anyhow. And then a whole book came out of it. I think that maybe nowadays I read even more philosophical books than when I did when I went to university, because I was more or less quite a lazy student, I have to admit that. But I think it's very important to reflect on the things that you write. So philosophy is a very good background, I think. And also philosophical books, because they are sometimes written in a very unique way. I always like to put a background in my book, you know, I like a theoretical background as well, because the subjects are usually very difficult. I mean, Kosovo and the war former Yugoslavia is not an easy subject. And obviously you need to put in a little bit of reflection. And that's why they all come together, I think. I keep getting questions like, when are you going to write about, your roots? That's a big thing, my roots. Apparently, it's the only thing that I'm supposed to be interested in, my roots. So, the next thing would be, after Kosovo and my newest book being on Greenland, would be, the next one would be about Korea, South and North. And that would be a bit difficult, I think, because the subject is, again, a very complicated one. And so I intend to do a lot of research again, and we'll see what comes out of it.